Hello everyone, welcome to Bewdley Station. Looking very festive here for our Santa season. I just thought I'd take the opportunity to talk to you all about 2025 and also look ahead quickly to 2026 as well. First of all, I wanted really to thank all our supporters, our members, volunteers, shareholders and other stakeholders for their unwavering support for the railway. As I'll explain as we go through this piece, we've really needed it this year. We began 2025, of course, focused on two really big anniversaries. First of all, the 60th anniversary of the SVR itself, and the 200th anniversary of railways in the UK, the Railway 200 programme. And so we started the year very optimistically, looking ahead to all those things. But on the 29th of January, as we all know, we saw the devastating news that the railway had suffered quite a serious embankment slip down at Moorbrook. And that really then set the scene in a very different way for the next couple of months as we started to think about how we would then deal with that particular problem and of course then only have the railway operational between Kidderminster and Hampton Load for what would turn out to be a good portion of the year. So once we come to terms with the initial shock of the failure at Moorbrook, and believe me, it was a shock, we very quickly then started thinking about what the best approach would be to make repairs there. And I mentioned earlier on my thanks to everybody that supported us. One of the things that was really humbling was the volume of support and donations that we received almost spontaneously from day one and the get-go really, and the media coverage that we got very generously helped with all of that. But we quite unashamedly also used our contacts in the mainline industry and with Network Rail and with other people to quickly ascertain what really the synopsis would be for the repair, how we might go about that, and of course spent a good while checking our insurance arrangements and then going through the process with the insurers to make a claim which they then accepted, which allowed us to proceed with the repair. And against all the odds almost, in true SVR style, no less than 6 months later, we reopened Moorbrook with nothing other than the world's most famous locomotive, Flying Scotsman. So sometimes it really does pay to be bold in your endeavours. And I think that image of Flying Scotsman that day and the atmosphere on the railway on the 25th of July 2025 will certainly remain with me for my lifetime, I think, and probably everybody else who was here that day. It just was the most amazing day. That iconic image of Flying Scotsman going over Moorbrook that morning just really, to me, epitomises the best of the SVR. In adversity, we always come together and make sure that this railway that we're all so passionate about succeeds yet again against all the odds. So the months following the reopening of the railway saw some very much needed strong performance. We had a great season in August despite the really hot weather. And then we were straight into some of our sort of keynote events, notably for most the Autumn Steam Gala being the highlight, where we again had a good mixture of visiting locos and 60 hours of continuous running to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the railway. And probably the highlight for many being the first appearance on the railway of a Merchant Navy Pacific, Peninsular and Oriental line. From that, we were then in 2 weeks later to the Autumn Diesel Bash, which this year focused on the Class 37s. A very rugged and long-lived design, celebrating 65 years now in regular frontline use. And we had 10 of those visit the railway for a weekend, some from mainline operators and some from other heritage railway operators. And now here we are, 2 weeks into the Santa season, with two new main Santa products. The Elf Express from Bridgnorth, which is already sold out, and in fact sold out some weeks ago, and the Santa Express, which is also proving a hit with our visitors. So plenty of positive news to end the year with. Looking ahead to 2026, I do feel optimistic about the future of the railway. We do need to keep evolving though, we need to keep developing the railway, and we need to make sure we're relevant to as many people as possible to ensure that our future is assured. But in order to do that, you'll see from us next year, hopefully the One Railway plans coming to fruition now that we've got the overwhelming mandate to do that, and the conversion of the railway to a charitable community benefit scheme is part of that key objective. And you'll also see the publication of the next 5 years strategic plan. So plenty to come in 2026, plenty for you all to be involved in, and I look forward to talking to as many people around the railway about these exciting plans as possible. But As is traditional at this time of year, I'd just like to round off by wishing everybody a really happy Christmas and a very prosperous 2026.